Welcome to Wake Up with Marci, a deep dive into self-discovery. I'm your host, Marci Hopkins, and this is the space where we get real about life, transformation, and finding our true selves. Hello, all. Welcome back to Wake Up with Marci. I'm so excited you are here. If you are here, you are ready to step into self-discovery, healing, and navigating life transitions with true confidence. And today I'm joined by someone who is truly walking in purpose, and that is Tirralan Watkins. She's a passion and purpose coach, a content strategist, and the host of the top-ranked podcast, MOMetize Your Passion, where she empowers moms to turn their God-given gifts into thriving, purpose-driven businesses. Her work has been featured in People Magazine, Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood, and so many more. But her true passion and power lies in how she helps women silence self-doubt, embrace their calling, and step boldly into the life they were designed to live. And I'm telling you, we live in self-doubt so often. And Tirralan, I just am so grateful you are here so we can build confidence and help those out there to move into their purpose. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Marci, for having me. I'm so honored, and congratulations on your show.
I'm so excited to have transitioned into the podcast world. It's a great place to be, and we get to really expand on the conversation. When you have a TV show, it's so short-lived. You only get 7 to 8 minutes with someone. So I'm really grateful to have this time with you. And let's talk about that confidence, where you have built the confidence, and that's been rooted in God, right? So how did your faith begin, and how did you rewrite the way that you saw yourself?
Oh, that is a great question. So my faith journey began when I was young because I was surrounded by a lot of family members who were also with my faith, a Christian faith. But I feel like as I went through my journey, because I'm just going to connect this to passion pursuits, like I feel like when I was younger, I've always been creative with acting, with just being a creative little girl and wanting to pursue things that made me want to dream. So when I was younger, living in the San Francisco Bay Area, I'm in Southern California now, I always felt like I was a dreamer. And with that dream came, I felt like God was connecting with me in some way through my dreams. Like there was something he wanted me to do with my dreams. And of course, you know, we have dreams as little girls, as women, and sometimes we think it's that one thing. So for me, as my creativity evolved, it turned into a love for acting. So I'm thinking, okay, this is it. This is the ultimate. I need to move to Tinseltown, AKA Hollywood, and pursue this acting career. Because I was like, okay, God, you've given me this gift, these passions. And just to take you back a little bit, because I had just graduated from college with an undergrad in mass communications. And I told my mom that I wanted to move to LA to be an actress. And she was not for it at all. I was still living at home.
She's like,
I'm still living in the house. And all of a sudden it's like, well, I want to move to Hollywood to be an actress. And it's such a far-fetched dream, you know?
I know.
So I really felt like God wanted me to move to Hollywood to pursue an acting career. Do you know what I mean? And I remember even then, I wanted to make an impact in Hollywood. It wasn't just for self. I wanted to make a difference in some way. And I wasn't sure how to do that quite yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, God, if you really want me to move to LA, because it was a strong passion, desire, and unction from God, I felt that he wanted me to move. So I was like, okay, Lord, if you really want me to move here, then please open up these 4 things. And it's 4, I believe. One was I needed a job. Number 2, I needed an acting agent. Number 3, I needed a place to stay. It was 5 things, actually. Number 4, I wanted a good multicultural church. And then number 5 was to change my mother's heart. So literally, because LA and Oakland, which is where I'm from, is about 5.5 hours away.
Yeah.
So in one day, I drove from Oakland to LA because I had a job interview and I had an interview with an agent. And I got them both on the spot, drove back home. Meanwhile, my pastor at the time worked it out where I can stay at a Korean dormitory, a missionary dorm for free until I got on my feet. So that was the third thing. The fourth thing was someone had recommended a multicultural church in LA, which was filled with other entertainment hopefuls. So I had that connection. And then as time was going on, all the pieces were just adding up. My mom just started being proud of me. Like when she was speaking to people on the phone, it was with pride, like, oh yeah, my daughter's moving to LA to be an actress. You know what I mean? Her tone had changed.
Yeah.
So at my going away party, I asked her, what made you change the way you viewed me going to LA? And she said God gave her a vision that I was in LA and there was angels surrounding me. And she knew that that was a sign that I was supposed to be there. So literally those 5 things God came through for me on. And I knew it was, the right move for me to move. So I felt like, to your original question, like with me pursuing that passion, it was a God-led passion. Because I feel like when we pursue our God-led passions, it opens the door to purpose. And when I say open the door to purpose, I mean, it's not just for ourselves. It's for us to use our gifts, our dreams to help someone else as well. And I felt like as he opened up those doors, he was opening up the opportunity and the doors for me to help other people in the process.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And how are you helping people?
Well, it was through a series of events. I felt like, so as I was going along this journey, the acting, I always my saying was I wanted to make an impact in the world with this acting in some way. So as I was pursuing this acting career, I realized that the acting itself wasn't the end. It was a means to get me somewhere else. So throughout that process of me, So throughout that process of me pursuing this and trying to make an impact, I was able to start a local talk show called Life Impact, because on that show, I wanted to help other people struggling through whatever area they were in. Yeah. Like I had different guests on, like Sherry Shepherd, who was a dear friend at the time, like an Olympian, but it was all about what they went through in their lives and how them getting through that was able to help in some way. So I was using that as a platform to be able to use these high profile people and use their stories to encourage and inspire other people in their journey.
Right.
So there was always like little things like that where I saw that God was showing me how I was helping other people in the process. And eventually, several years later, I was able to build this platform, Tinseltown Mom, where I'm helping moms to pursue their God-led passions so they can be used to help other people in the process. So I feel like it all kind of evolved into this platform where I'm helping, multiple people in a bigger way.
Well, 100%. I feel, listen, I've gone through a lot in my life. And when I got in front of the camera, it was a dream that I'd always had. But that changed throughout my life. I lost self-confidence and such. But something happened in my 40s. And I actually somehow found the strength to start pursuing that dream. And then all these doors started opening up, right? People were coming into my life that could help me. I was getting agents right away. I was starting to, get auditions and find schooling that I could be a part of. So it was really interesting. I feel that when you are doing what you are called to do, that the universe conspires with you, God conspires with you, and these doors open up easily for you. And so I always like to say, if you're trying to pursue something and you feel like you are going up a mountain and you are struggling the whole way up that mountain, you might be going up the wrong mountain. And, God has another place for you. So I think that you prayed to God and those things happened. And I truly believe in that when things happen with such ease that God is there to answer that and to create these possibilities for you when it is your purpose.
Yes. And I feel
Yeah.
like it doesn't happen in the way that we expect it to happen.
Never
You know,
does. Yeah.
we have these expectations. Oh, I want to do this. I want it to line up like X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
line up that way, but we have to be open to how it's going to happen. Because a lot of times we get into these dry seasons where it's like, okay, I'm not doing what I want to do. Like I feel
Right.
stuck. But
Right.
sometimes there's more value if we allow God to use us. There's more value in that season of being stuck and what we need to learn and get out of it, or how we're able to help
Right.
someone else during that season than that very thing that we're pursuing.
Yeah. When
But
you
we have
say
to be
stuck,
open to that.
I look at it as a pause now.
Yeah.
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 You had this dream, you were acting, you had created this platform, but then for you, that fire was gone. And you wanted
Yeah.
to make a change and you wanted to make a pivot. And it's so frightening, right? To make a change. And why is this happening? Right. And what should I do? So for you, what was that change? What was that pivot? And what was the calling that you had?
Yes. So I felt like the season of acting had dried up and I no longer had a passion for it like I once had.
Mhm.
And part of the reason was the things that I was asked to participate in, I didn't really connect with. And I felt like I wanted to write about things that I would want to be in. So, after getting so many asks to, be in a certain project or audition for certain things that your values don't align with, eventually, that can wear on you. So I felt like that. And then the struggle with acting, I kind of lost my passion for it.
Mhm.
And it transitioned into a passion for writing. So during that time, I was at the church that I was telling you about at the beginning, and I joined a small writing group. And that's where I met another young dreamer who was there pursuing a filmmaking career. He was another dreamer, moved from Alabama to LA, and that was my husband.
Mhm.
We eventually got married. So during that season, when I was pursuing this writing career, and thankfully I had connection, because I do think that helps when you're pursuing something. Like if you have connection in a similar passion, it
Yeah.
helps to have that, like, accountability, just people that you're talking things through. So it helped to have that small group, actually. So
Mhm.
eventually, after my husband and I, we were dating at the time, we got married. I went back to school, got a master's in professional writing from USC. And now I had this professional writing degree. And after
Yeah.
I graduated, I'm like, what am I going to do with this degree? So I started freelance writing for different publications at the time, until eventually I'm like, you know what? I can create my own platform, write about the things that I want to write about, and still continue to pursue my passion. So at the time, because my husband's a filmmaker, I had this acting career. My husband helped me come up with the name Tinseltown Mom.
Mhm.
I made it a point to interview celebrity moms about their journeys so they can help other moms with their journeys. And even though I was interviewing these celebrity moms, it wasn't about Hollywood or acting. It was
Mhm.
about, if you have a dream, then you can pursue that dream. How do you pursue that dream? So I wanted to use these public figures to show how they did it so
Yeah.
they can encourage other moms in the process. So that was just, another way of how I felt like I wanted to help moms. Well, that's the birth of it, actually, where I wanted to help moms, because at the
Yeah.
time I was also a mom, and
Yeah.
help them going through what their season of life threw at
I get
them.
that. I get that. And
Mhm.
it's hard. One of the things I really want to point out is that you talk about God and being guided, and I'm very much a believer in God. So for anyone out there, your higher power, um, whoever that is for you, for me, it's God. You were taken, Tirralan, from acting to a dream of writing, and you join this small group, and you find the person that you married. Me, I was living in Denver. I was working. I had a good job, and I ended up changing my entire life within a month. I got a job in LA. I broke off an engagement. I sold my house. It was a very, very trying time, but I was so driven to create that change in my life. And I went to LA, and within 3 months, I found my husband. So
Wow.
my point to this is, when you get that strong desire, when you need to create that change, there is a reason that you are being guided in that way. And when
Yes.
you cut it off, you are most times cutting off the true reason you're supposed to be there. Like, we started a whole new beautiful path in our lives, and we met our husbands that,
Yeah.
yes. And
By
and
pursuing your passions and your calling.
yes, exactly, exactly. So I just want to really bring light to that. So someone's
Yeah.
there, right? Like, and you have this strong calling. Don't let that fear hold you back from that.
Yeah. Because it leads to different purposes throughout
Yes.
your life when you are pursuing those things,
Yeah.
whether it's the
Yes.
relationship or you touching
Right.
someone in a certain way that they needed your guidance in some way. So
So
when
let's
we,
talk about, for the women listening that are
yeah.
at the crossroads right now,
Mm-hmm.
and their dreams no longer lighting them up, right? What would
Yeah.
you say to that woman who's afraid to make that pivot
Yeah.
because they're afraid of failure?
Yeah. I would say, and I had to rectify this with myself, is sometimes you have to take that step, but you have to do it messy. Do you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? You don't
Yeah.
need to be perfect if you have a dream and you think everything has to be laid out for you. You can take the step and do it messy. Not saying you're going to be unprofessional,
Yeah.
because we've all done things and realized, oh, why did I do it like that? But you learn through the process.
Mhm.
And I would also say that if there's a dream or a gifting that you have, think about if someone is not encountering what you have to offer, they may be staying stuck in their journey in life. Like, you can be impacting someone in such a powerful way, but because you're remaining stuck or you're not allowing yourself to pursue those things out of fear or whatever it is, then someone is not getting what they need from you, because we all have our own personal giftings from God. And I can't do what you do, Marci. You're touching the people you're supposed to touch. I'm touching the people I'm supposed to touch.
Right.
So I just want to encourage the people listening to think about that. Like, think about how you can touch someone in a certain way by just taking that first step of pursuit. Like I always say, pursue.
Just start.
Yeah, just start. And that can look different for different people. Maybe it's maybe if your passion is, I'm just going to throw this out there, I don't know, organizing.
Yeah.
Maybe you can start by, maybe there's a friend you can help who's in distress because her home is disorganized and she doesn't know what to do. Maybe you can start by just volunteering your gifts. That's how I started, just volunteering my gifts and my passions. Just volunteer and see how you're helping someone. Even if you just help one person, see how that can impact them. And maybe that'll arise something in you to want to keep going and take it further, because you can help so many more people
Right.
by just taking that first step.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So tell us, what's the hardest truth that you had to admit to yourself during your entrepreneurial journey?
Probably that it's difficult and it's not as easy as people say.
Mhm.
So even when I am encouraging moms to pursue their passions, I help them to monetize it, find ways to monetize their passions.
Mm. That's
I'm
great.
not, yeah, I'm not one of these people who says, oh yeah, do this and you'll make $1 million.
Yeah.
It might be monetizing a passion and selling your crocheting patterns on Etsy. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But that
Yeah.
can open up the door to something else.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hard truth. People think that when they start something, they start the monetization route, that it's going to be like all these people say it's going to be. Oh yeah, you'll make 7 figures if you do X, Y, and Z. It doesn't happen for most people like that. Those are the exceptions. But
Yeah.
you can still start and do the things that you're called to do. And if you're looking to monetize in some way and still be used, and it can grow into something bigger. So I like
Exactly.
to set those
Yeah.
expectations. Yeah.
You got to, that's just the thing. You've got to start. I think a lot of times people don't get to where they're possibly meant to be
Yeah.
because maybe it doesn't happen fast enough for them, or they're expecting too much in the beginning. And you kind of got to pay your dues, right?
Yeah.
You got to walk the walk. You got to do and give of yourself, and then it will come back to you.
Yeah.
And just like you're saying, yeah. So, so if there's someone out there and they have these fears, right? Or they're wanting to launch something new, what are some tools that they could use when that fear shows up, when that confidence that we talk about isn't there for them at that point?
Yeah. Well, I feel like if they're having self-doubt or imposter syndrome, like we
Mm,
all have,
yeah.
I feel like you have to still just walk it out despite what you're telling yourself that's negative. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like we're all going to experience that. Like, oh, I'm not good enough, or that can't be the reason that you're not doing something. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you can still be doing something and still have those fears, but you have to do it afraid, like walk through the fear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If like someone has a gifting and they're afraid, then I'm not saying so what to that fear, but I'm saying why would you stop just because you have a fear? Because we all have fears.
We all have it.
And
I
I'm
do a lot
saying,
of it. I do a lot of things afraid.
yeah. And I'm saying, practically speaking,
Hmm.
if you have a fear, but you know you have this gift and you have this desire to pursue it, I would say, even with the fear, just take the steps to pursue the thing that you're afraid of. Because
Yeah.
oftentimes, like we may have a desire, I want to do this. Again, as we mentioned earlier, it's not going to line up perfectly like we think.
Hmm.
You may think, like you, Marci, you have a lot of skills and gifts from your past. Let's say you're afraid, but you know you want to be a life coach.
Hmm.
Like I would say, well, you're afraid, you want to be a life coach. Dress for Success, they're looking for volunteers. They need life coaches. Why don't
Hmm.
you just start there? There's no pressure because you're not getting paid for it. Just volunteer your time and see how it goes. Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
start on a smaller scale with your gift, the thing that you're afraid of. Start on a smaller scale and see how it goes. Like,
Yeah.
see if you are actually touching someone or making a difference in someone's life. And
I
I
love
think
it.
that will quell someone's fear when they see that they're making a huge difference in someone's life.
Another thing that helps me today, and this took time. I'm not going to say this happened overnight, but is to truly have faith, like
Yes.
you talk about, right? Like
Hmm.
walking in God's purpose. And I wake up every day today, and I did not used to do this. This was something that through my healing journey that I have begun doing and have done consistently throughout the years is I start my day with God.
Yes.
And by doing that, that could be there's videos I watch on YouTube that's starting with prayer and gratitude and scripture, and these things really have helped me
Yes.
to calm that overwhelm inside of me and to really trust the process. And a lot of times somebody will be like, well, what's your goal in 5 years, or what do you do about this, or blah blah blah. And for me, a lot of times it's truly just having the faith, and I'll do the work. But where's my calling, and listening to my inner guide, my higher self, and that's God. You know, so your high, it could be your higher self, but I just think that, and this is something that you teach, and this is something that you share a lot about, is just having that trust in your purpose, and trusting and having faith in something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I talk a lot about that on my show. I have a big audience of Christian moms who listen to me. So I
Mhm.
can attest to what you're saying, like starting my day reading scripture, asking God to guide it. Like before I get on my phone, before I step out of bed, I am in the Bible, in the Word, praying and asking God to set the tone for my day. And even asking Him, what do you want me to do with this gift? Do you know what I mean? And that's why I say I try to help moms to pursue and monetize their God-led passion.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if it's a God-led passion, that can turn into a purpose. If it's God who wants us to pursue it, it's not just for self, it's so we can help other people. So
I know.
if we can put that into perspective, we're helping other people by pursuing this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then maybe we can get out of that fear too.
It is, if you make it about service and make it about someone else instead of yourself. Yeah. That's a huge one.
Yeah. Even when I started Tinseltown Mom, I was working a full-time job, but it was my passion to do this. I didn't start it to get paid. It was just because it was an outlet for me to pursue my passion. I wasn't even thinking about monetizing when I first started it. It was just, I wanted to use this to help moms in some way.
Yeah.
Eventually I started monetizing it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But when I first started, I wasn't even thinking about monetizing.
So, and you have something coming in the future that you have a new book coming out?
I do have a new book coming out later in the summer. I also have a little mini course that I just created for, you know, the mom or mom figure or the woman who is looking to monetize, to pursue actually their calling or their passion and monetize it. It's very simple. It's a simple framework that I just put together along with a workbook, a guided workbook to help them go from A to Z. So that's something that I just put together as well. If your audience is interested, that's now available.
Okay. Well, what's your website? You have it on your website?
Yes, I do have it on my website, www.tinseltownmom.com.
Okay. And did you mention something about a free giveaway if somebody was interested?
Well, I did say that I also have a weekly newsletter that I give out.
Oh, the newsletter.
On a weekly
That's
basis.
A great thing to be a part of. Yeah.
So I always talk about the giveaways I have, like free coaching or, you know, just different things that I offer. So if anyone's interested, they can go to tinseltownmom.com and find out about my weekly newsletter that talks about the giveaways and the new audio bundle if they're looking to monetize their passion.
Plus, you just learned so much being a part of that community. So I just want to thank you so much, Tirralan, for empowering all of us and sharing your truth and the way that you've been guided and how you show up and help other people now. And I just want to share that if you felt inspired by today's show, make sure to check out the notes and all of the information will be there, and share this with someone that needs to hear this message, hear this conversation. And I'd be so grateful if you're listening today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, rate me, leave a message, leave a review. The more that you interact, the more people I reach with this message. And you can find all of the episodes on YouTube at Wake Up with Marci, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and on NJ. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Wake Up with Marci. And please leave me a message and what your takeaways are. And Tirralan, thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Marci. This was such a blessing for me. Thank you.
Truly a blessing for me too. And I can't wait to see you all again next week. Remember, there's a new show dropping every Thursday. Until next time, keep waking up with purpose and possibility because you've got this. All right, guys, have a great week, and I'll see you on the next show.